Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name's Bob, I'll be your host. Did you ever watch cartoons as a kid? Do you, like myself, as an adult, still watch cartoons? Cartoons are fun. The older cartoons were absolutely insane, with characters running around trying to smash each other with sledgehammers and throwing coyotes off the cliffs after they receive their orders from online or whatever. So, they don't really do that kind of thing anymore, but they're still fun to watch. If you like that kind of cartoon violence in your cartoons and stuff, then boy howdy, do I have a game for you. We're going to talk about TOON. This book has 207 pages and a copyright of 1984. It was published by Steve Jackson Games, and all of the artwork in this book is in black and white. And what can I say? It's cartoony. So let's go ahead and look at that artwork. All of the artwork in this book is in black and white. And it is pretty cartoony, but what do you want? It's a game about playing a cartoon character. Of course it's cartoony. And it does go a long way to setting proper mood and tone for this game. It all does a good job to remind you that you are playing a cartoon game. And here's one for you cyberpunk nuts. A robotic monkey on a robotic pogo stick. That's pretty neat. To play this game, what you're going to need is, of course, a copy of this core rulebook and six-sided dice. That's it, just six-sided dice. We'll explain more about the dice in a little bit. To build a character in this game, what you're going to have to do first is figure up your attributes. There are 4 attributes in this game. They are muscle, zip, smarts, and chutzpah. And the way you figure them out is you roll a six-sided die for each of them, and then place them in order, or however order you want. So you'll have a starting attribute from 1 to 6. You then get your skills. Your starting skills all start in the same number as the attribute that they're ranked at. And then you get an additional 30 points to split up amongst them. And there's your attributes. You can also spend your attributes on something called a shtick, which is something odd that your character does. And it explains how to use shticks in the game, in the book. And they're pretty neat. You then write out a description of your character, how silly they look and stuff. You pick a natural enemy, if you wish. You don't have to. But like a mouse would pick a cat would pick a dog, and so on and so forth. And then you pick your beliefs and goals. And the beliefs are something that your character believes in, like I'm better than everybody else, or everybody else is out to get me, or something like that. And the goal is something you wish to accomplish, like steal all the cheese in the house. Just something that you want. And it gives you a few examples in here. And then you get possessions. And possessions are things that you carry on you. And you'll get 8 possessions. 4 of them must be normal things, and it has a list of normal things in here. And, a pen or a pencil, book of matches, something small and easy to carry. And then you got 4 other things that you can pick. And you can pick unusual items or gizmos, which costs a little more. And a gizmo is basically a thing that could be whatever you need it to be, when you need it to be it. And that's pretty much it for character creation. And that's pretty simple. The dice you roll in the game are, of course, six-sided dice. And there are 2 ways to roll these dice. The first is when you're rolling a skill or an attribute test, you roll 2 six-sided dice and add them together, plus any bonuses or negatives you might have. And you must equal the skill or the attribute or less in order to succeed. And your skills and attributes, they can go no more than 9 high. So a 10, 11, and a 12 is always a failure. But that's pretty much it on that. The other way you roll dice is kind of like percentiles with 10-sided dice, with one die being the tens place and one die being the ones place, which will give you a roll of anywhere from 11 to 66. And there's some charts in here that use that. One of the charts is for character creation, where if you want, you can pick a certain type of character. If you don't know what kind of cartoon character you want to play, you can roll on that table in the percentile way, and you got a silly table, which gives you you got a normal table, which gives you cats and mice and rabbits and dogs and humans and so forth. And then you got a silly table, which gives you stuff like vacuum cleaners, cars, toasters, goblins, and whatever. And it's pretty cool. And during the game, your game master will reward you with plot points. And plot points are kind of like your experience. You can spend them during the game to gain extra gizmos or sticks when needed, or you can save them and use them to raise your skills later on. So that's pretty nifty. The beginning of this book opens up with the Cartoon Olympics, which is a starter game for you to use to get everybody used to the rules. And then it's got some other adventures in here that you can run. And it talks about building your cartoons, and has a chapter devoted to episodes, which each individual cartoon is its own episode. Each game is an episode. And then it talks about cartoon shows, which is your campaign. And that would be, kind of like the cartoons don't really form a bigger story, but they belong to a central theme, which is kind of nifty. It explains it all in here. And it's a pretty neat game. I've run it before. When I ran it, we only played like 2 games, and then we moved on to something else. But in it, my wife was playing a elf character, and my brother was playing a gremlin. And their cartoon show was they were in a fantasy land where everything's ran by mythical creatures and stuff that you'd find like in Dungeons and Dragons. And they hung out at this diner, and during their hijinks, they smashed the toaster. And the place was ran by a minotaur, so he had them go on a epic quest to find a new magic toaster to replace the one they broke. So it's a pretty fun game. You can't die in this game. If you lose all your hit points in this game, then your character is pretty much knocked out for 3 minutes. 3 minutes, you have to sit there. At 3 minutes, your character reconstitutes and you're back in the game. So if you get blown up, you turn to ash and then pop, you're back to normal. If you get flattened with a hammer, you're squished like a pancake and then pop, you're back to normal. You know how the old cartoons worked. And that's pretty much it. It's an insane game that can be fun if you're looking for something different and crazy to run for a while. Which brings me to 3 questions. Would I play a character in this game? And I'm going to have to say, yeah, I like cartoons, and TOON would definitely fill that in. Would I run this game? And yes, I would. And like I've said, yes, I have. Would I recommend this game? Yeah, I'd recommend it. Like I said, it's a crazy game. If you're looking for something completely different or just in a really silly mood, it's a game that can really fill that niche for you. So thank you for taking a look at TOON with me, and hopefully you'll join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye.